And my batting didn't go so AI. Feeling like Joe Hill Austin. Funny, he was in a film called AI. And my sixth sense telling me to off him. I'm a blick niggas all in a coffee. Yeah, yo, niggas is dick riders. Tell them run to America to imitate heritage. They can't imitate this violence. What I learned is niggas don't like the West Coast, and I'm fine with it. I push the line with it. Pick a nigga off one at a time with it. We can be on a 3-hour time difference. Don't speak on the family, Crody. It can get deep in the family, Crody. Talk about meeting my family, Crody. Someone go bleed in your family, Crody. And we all knew Hakeem getting fried rice with a dip sauce and a blammy, Crody. Talking about cheese and bomb. We could do this right now on the camera, Crody. What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody in the tropical region staying cool because we're in a heat dome right now. It's quite rough. Quite rough indeed. And it's quite odd that some people think reading as many books as possible is the key to knowledge. Not reading good books and meditating on and applying them over time. Not seeing how they're flawed like any other data set and adjusting to boil the truth out of it and discard the natural fetters found in every piece of physical data. No. Just to read as many books as possible, most of which can say the same exact thing over and over again. All right? I don't subscribe to no fuck the police talk. That's faceblind. Now, if you want to talk about the Freemasonic connections and the formation, administration, and maintenance of police departments, I'm your huckleberry. Also, I think I've starkly underestimated the over-socialized dopamine rush Null gets from being validated for his racism on Twitter. It's probably like a fresh rip of crackarooski for our boy. It's been degrading his spirit. Well, I ain't got no control over that anymore. So I just did the best that I could when I could. It's that simple. There are so many quotes by Christ that our minds often fail to grapple with. I think, in many ways, the parable of the lukewarm, the hot in the mouth, the cold in the mouth, I spit them out, I vomit them up, is more about the rejection of the all-is-spirit hermeticism. You might know about this if you study any esoteric communities, where ancient proto-alchemists try to imply that, with a scope of the world dictated by a perception that a demon called Yaldabaoth was God, this is Gnosticism, this is the religion of the Freemasons, they thought the shadow and the light are one and the same, that man and woman, spirit and matter, right and wrong are one in the same. Which explains a lot about them, doesn't it? To reiterate, failing to grasp the divine, as is so easy to fall short with the natural mind, but if you're not humble enough to realize that, you're just going to paint over all of the preternatural glimmers and glisten that you can pick up if you're more sensitive and humble. You're just going to paint over it with your own egotistical assumption of things. But they were wrong. I believe Christ was outlining this folly. Not that slowness and quickness don't belong together, that patience and zeal are not one and the same, that through long-suffering love isn't shown its clearest, but through the rejection of the thoughts that goad us into improper, vain, and assumptive behavior. Indeed, Aquinas is the fullest mind to outline this, and the doctor of the Catholic faith. And indeed, we are in many ways amphibians of body and spirit. But let us never forget our courage, fully accepting our weakness, our mortality, our folly as well. Let us never forget this. Let us live in such a way that we encounter blessings with caution and charity, and strife and adversity with humble gratitude, for the Lord maketh the weak things of this world to glorify him. And for me, zeal, passion, bravery, it's all found in patience and sensitivity. I think I figured out why flagellance became a practice despite the fact that self-mutilation is technically illegal under the Catholic faith. It took me a while, but I think I get it. After meditating on Bushido and applying that wisdom to prayer, I think you're supposed to inflict pain on yourself as a flagellant while you pray so that you can pray through any distractions. Say you're deathly ill or bleeding out in a ditch with a painful slash or hole in you. You still pray, And you practice that by inflicting low amounts of pain and then dialing it up over time so that it seems more extreme. However, I would say that's not necessary, especially if you just go out into the world and see all the tests of faith that are before you and not fail them. Or try again, fail again, try better, fail better. Keep on climbing, keep on taking 3 steps forward, even if you're pushed back 2 steps. I think that's the key. One key for one door, but very important. It might be that the ancient Egyptian religion is just the ultimate conclusion to worshipping cats for their utility and their cuteness. A lot of modern cat owners even want to, and have managed to, in some way, immortalize their cats. We will never forget about the black gorilla that Cats, the Kiwi Farms user, has as a wonderful pet that is likely safe with one of his family members, and hopefully didn't pass away, prompting his untimely suicide. Rest in peace, Cats. You are greatly missed, my friend. We love you, and I hope wherever you're at, you're thinking about kitties. I've been using the term face-blind a lot in regards to skin-deep prejudice and treating demographics as easily stereotyped monoliths. I'm gonna make it a term. Piss off the ACABs, piss off the TNDs alike like a true fence builder, baby. Ain't no fence sitter. I build them fences, man. Human beings being able to have children at any time of the year is something that really messed us up psychologically, right? Great. We don't have to have a rutting season. Our women don't go into heat time to afford their offspring the best time of the year to grow for survival. That's all fine and good. That's great. But, unfortunately, we now have a permanent low thrum of horniness to be able to breed at any time. And everyone's gooning in the room these days. The anti-ick app just launched. I think it's called like T or something like that. And women are cataloging your red flags. Better study up, boys. All I'm saying, better study up. AI just acting on its own, how its lambda calculus has been set up, and it can end up creating cascading failures in the systems it's assigned to so severe that it vastly eclipses any virus so far, which is ultimately why they're force installing AI into every piece of electronics you own, and why you should always prioritize physical assets and try to find at least some sort of a fail-safe around some stuff like Microsoft, you know. Although I do appreciate Microsoft saying, we're not going to build weapons for Israel anymore. This is just too much. I also have the feeling that that's going to cause some backlash, some blowback, some lingering after effects, some side effects, as the worst people on the planet try their hardest to pour as much energy as possible into spiting any sort of decision aimed at criticizing them or holding them to account for vastly immoral and unjust behaviors. Cry about Muslims all you want. Everybody is tuning out. Everybody's tuning out. We can criticize Muslims on our own. We don't need you dictating Muslims. But one thing you're doing is you're standing on a winnowing island, if that's all you can scream about, while children get starved to death and shot by quadcopters. You're a sick piece of garbage. You are less than a pimples on a rat's ass. You ain't a ratatouille rat. You're the whole damn kitchen. So get that shit out of here, man. Back to AI. I can tell AI a video from the first second of movement because it's very, very sloppy. And AI music from the first glitchy trill it spits out. I have trained myself with incredible accuracy to scan for AI photos and reject it without absorbing its content. And I encourage you to do the same, my friends. It's wild as hell that people talk about Chinese social credit scores like some alien communist concept, like we haven't had financial credit gatekeeping, getting a house, getting a car, just living your life, and is exclusively determined by how many different loans you take out that you pay towards punctually but never pay off. Your credit score drops a few points when you responsibly pay a loan off. That's social credit score, only towards interest instead of social cohesion. It's that simple. Also eternally funny that the space in between Chinese people's forehead, nose, and eyes is so wide and so flat that you could easily project movies on it. In Germans, that space migrated northwards like true Nords, right below the hairline. Freya got a whole landing strip right there. You can land a B-24 on that, 325 on that. Excuse me. Or at least my grandfather could. You know, he's probably much better at flying than I am. And most people these days couldn't fly planes without any avionics like the B-25 Mitchell. No, sir. Although I encourage people to try if they can get their hands on any of that equipment. That's probably the issue, is like it's so gate-kept that everything is electronic now. And pretty soon they'll be able to just meow. Oh no, he got shot down over a country that never attacked us. We got to invade. You know, think about why a third of the F-35 test pilots had the top of their head sheared off as they were ejecting out of the seats. I think that is way too many people dying for just some sort of little malfunction or coincidence. They would have fixed it the first time. The cruelty is the point. Remember that. I wouldn't say having a state religion is like mandating an ethno-state. It might have meant that exact thing in the past, thousands of years ago, like in Hinduism or Judaism. But Christianity is universal. It really, truly is, as much as certain sects of Protestants think that it's not. The concept of freedom of religion is just the same as the concept of anarchy. Its outwardly stated goal is ultimate freedom, but its actual motives, traced right down to the political groups and book clubs that form and champion these notions, is the destruction of the prior order to usher in a new order. Just as the French Jacobins executed their elite, only to fall immediately back into every single folly criticized, and in fact escalating them immensely, if not just straight up starting them after projecting them on the monarchy. They only actually wanted to install their own monarchs of modernity, ones that didn't wear crowns and could slink about the shadows and hide behind finance instead of being forced to do what their people said and stand in the spotlight all the time. That's one of the reasons why people like Curtis Yarvin pine for monarchy, because it does have certain points of justice and accountability. I'm not necessarily an expert on political and social governance. I am a student of history. So I just tell you, look to the back, and then you can determine for yourself. Come together. I think democracy can be a very, very good thing if it doesn't resemble what's happening in Romania, if it doesn't resemble what has happened in our country in the last 30 years, 40 years. Don't take the Jacobites at their word. That's always a huge mistake. My distant ancestor, Marie Antoinette, never said, "Let them eat cake." She was generous. She was a benevolent leader. It is the cycle of these things. The internet has done so much to outline, name, and train people to notice. It's got Zionists today going full-blown straight-jacketed, screaming at the padded walls in the asylum. Good, I say, good. Still, I'm glad Trump's going to hunt down the Hamas leaders. They made a deal with the devil in 2018. Screw them. But that doesn't mean the Palestinian people that are innocent, the children that are starving, kids born after October 7th, born into a world where all they've ever known is terrorized by the IDF. That's all they've ever known. Those children deserve at least justice, if not somebody to save them. If they're going to be martyred, then let that martyrdom be remembered for the rest of our lives, and it will. Like that piece of garbage, George Floyd, superseding all the other people. Like Elijah McClellan, who played violin for Cats of the Shelter and was killed by police officers right in front of his home. like Breonna Taylor, who was shot in her bed after some hick scum tried to terrorize them, and she got shot in her sleep. And her boyfriend returned fire, but was found innocent of any wrongdoing because of the way that they fabricated the warrant and no-knocked them illegally. And yet this monster, George Floyd, supersedes it all. A man who, frankly, deserved to die. Nah. We're going to remember the true victims. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to remember the Palestinians, even if every single one of them dies. Israel is not going to get away with it. You have my word. That's a wolf tone word, and it is silver. All right, my friends. Hope everybody has a good one. Stay hydrated. Cheers.